12 tracks with appearances from Ariana Grande, 21 Savage, and Kaja Bonet, I believe. Kaya Bonet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The production is including Donald Glover himself, DJ Dai, Ludwig Göransson, and more. So hopefully if you guys get a chance, please go ahead and listen to it. Now the tracks don't have name, with the exception of Algorithm, which is track number 2, and Time, which is track number 3. The other tracks, 12.38, 1910, 2419, 32, 22, they're all named, with numerical values as opposed to the traditional track listing names that we're used to. So great album. I was able to take a little bit of a listen this morning and I'm into it. So all right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and set the table for Who Are You? We'll be right back. And we are back. So during this time, I wanted to set the table for something that would be most relevant to our current time. A lot of us are locked in our homes, only coming out occasionally for essential needs. And what that leaves many of us privy to is time to think, time to figure out what we're doing, who we are. I know for myself, having time is to me one of the most luxurious things that could ever happen. Because oftentimes we're not given the luxury of time. We kind of are just steadily going through the motions of 24-hour days, 7 days a week, 350 something days, 365 days of the year. And so because of that, oftentimes we are more of first responders to the needs of other people, never truly giving prudence to acknowledging who we are. Now, for a lot of us, who you are at the core of your being is not something that you would take the time to study. Now, how we think, how we process, are all vital to us knowing who we are. So where does one start in terms of figuring out who they are? It's important that you are able to answer this question from the standpoint of your mind versus your circumstance. Now, when you think about who you are based on your circumstances, it will always shift. Most things in life are temporary. Relationships, jobs, friendships, whatever it is, most things in life are temporary. When you think from the core of who you are, not your ego, but your mind, you get an opportunity to focus and surround yourself with all of the things from a mental standpoint that should be the impetus of you making decisions about your life. But oftentimes we make decisions based off of circumstance. Most of us want to live a life that allows us to pour out the very riches of who we are. But when you're unsure of who you are, you're unable to respond to life from that structure. There's inspiration and then there's transformation. Most of us want to live a life that models how we see ourselves, who we think we are, what we read, what we see, what we think. This all goes to surmise our experience. Oftentimes, those are often influenced by other people. Now, you never want to be misallocated. And what I mean by that is you never want to be put in a position where you don't belong. But a lot of times, because we don't know ourselves, that's exactly where we're springing from. It is important to recognize that you are most functional where you fit best. The only way you can get to that place is by knowing who you are and whose you are. Most of us have lived our lives responding to what people needed from us. And it starts from when we're very young. What our parents needed, what our friends needed, what our job needed. Some of us are so tired because we don't even know who we are. We spend most of our lives responding to what other people say they need from us or what other people say we are. And this also kind of full circle comes back to the idea of you surrounding yourself with people who are there to influence you aspirationally. People have the ability to speak life into you or to cut you with those same words. The transformational potential of who you are is not in the way that you look or not in your temporary situation and or circumstance. It is in your core. So how does one even begin to figure out who they are? Knowing and discovering who you are is an opportunity for you to get to the core of who you were created to be. This isn't about anything that has happened to you. It's about figuring out what motivates you, questioning yourself about how you're living life, and if your life is aligned with the purpose. Now, if you're not sure about your purpose, that's okay. Allow yourself to exist in that space of not knowing. Knowing yourself means respecting your strength, your weaknesses, your fears, but also not becoming attached to them. What motivates you? What is the fire unto you? What is that thing that when you are doing it, you feel most intrinsically like yourself? Getting to know who you are may even mean you asking people, what about me makes you feel alive? What about me do you enjoy? And bracing yourself for that answer. You are most powerful when you are authentic. You're most vibrant when you are alive. And you're most alive when you know who you are. A lot of us, including myself, are oftentimes tired after a long day's work. Not because the work is arduous, but because you've spent the whole day responding to the needs of others and not truly ever giving who you are. So you're pretending. And nothing makes people more tired than pretense. So then you have to go even further in figuring out the journey of knowing yourself. It's about discovering who you are as a human being. On the journey, you question, how are you living your life, whether or not it is in alignment with your purpose? And if you don't yet know your highest purpose, again, allow yourself to live in that. The journey of knowing yourself can be challenging and scary. However, it also changes over time. For me, one of the biggest things that I can take along with me on my journey of discovering who I am is knowing that this too shall pass. But perhaps not in the way that I expected. Knowing yourself means giving yourself permission to not know while unraveling the deep truth about who you are. It is listening to a deeper calling and wisdom within. Knowing yourself is about being aware of your core values, priorities, and dreams, even if you don't know what they are yet. Knowing yourself means respecting, but not attaching to your dreams, your thoughts, your feelings, your tolerances, your limitations. Listen, if I'm going to be honest, it is up to you to decide for yourself the importance of knowing yourself and whether or not you actually even want to go there. It takes courage and a willingness to peel back the layers bit by bit. A lot of time, peeling back those layers could be like an onion. You'll definitely tear up. But at the root of it, you will get exactly what you need. For a long time, I felt lost. For many of you, you may currently even be feeling stuck like a caged bird. You have this deep longing and feeling within your heart that won't go away. The longing to know, why is it that you're here? What is it that you're supposed to be doing? Listen, I made the commitment many years ago that I wasn't going to stop challenging myself until I discovered what I was searching for. Now, for me, after a long search, I got the ability to stop searching on the outside and realized that the search was an inside job and I had to do the work. No one else could do it for me. It wasn't going to come in the form of a relationship. It wasn't going to come in the form of a friendship or a job or a new hobby. See, knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself, that's true wisdom. In order for you to master the strength of knowing yourself, you must first realize that you are enough and that you are already rich. See, there is no bigger cost to pay in life than the cost of not knowing who you are and not being able to follow your own heart. So take the time while you have it. Don't skim. Take the time while you have it and get on the journey. You will be all the much better for it. Knowing yourself is about delving much deeper. It's about aligning yourself. It's about not being scared of yourself. So many of us know our favorite artist and what they like to wear and what they like to eat and how they like to dance and where they like to go, but don't know shit about ourselves. Getting to know yourself is a difficult model because oftentimes we don't see it duplicated in front of us. How often have you seen being able to see self-awareness and self-assuredness modeled in front of you? It's a rarity. But you can take the time right now